Today's episode is brought to you by Inksided. You brand you.
Uh-oh. Do y'all know what time it is? Do y'all really know what time it is? It's time to grab your popcorn. Grab your best beverage. It's time to relax your ears. Wrestling season has returned, baby.
Ooh, yeah.
That's right. And it's time for your main event. Coming down the aisle, we have the one, Bobby Wrestles. And he is accompanied by the beautiful Mia Moore. This is the main event. Welcome to the All About Wrestling podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another edition of the All About Wrestling podcast. I'm Bobby Wrestles. We have a special show and a special guest for you tonight. Folks, tonight we're talking about OverDriver, a revolutionary app that can change the course of indie and pro wrestling as we know it. First, let me introduce my beautiful co-host, the one and only Mia Moore.
Whoa, where did my music go?
It's there. You just can't hear it.
I was like, okay, where's the song? Hey guys, did
Hello.
you miss me?
How are you feeling, Mia Moore?
So it is 9 o'clock here on the East Coast.
Are you excited for our special guest?
Oh yeah, of course. But my old age is like hinting in.
Oh, wow. So you're tired.
Yeah, I'm a little tired.
You're a little tired. Well, you better get excited because we have OverDriver. We have...
OverDriver, that's pretty exciting.
Yes, it is. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm not going to say children of all ages, but we have a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Bill Wirght of OverDriver is here. Hello, sir.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Pretty good.
We're
Pretty
great.
good.
It's always nice to see you.
It's great to see you guys. It's just exciting to be here. I love this. I love you guys. I'm just really happy to be on the show.
Awesome. We've been waiting for this show because you have something within your midst that's a necessity across the industry of wrestling. When I first heard of this, I could not wait to jump on board. Mia Moore, I'm pretty sure you feel the same way.
Yes, I'm always excited for resources for our indie wrestlers because that is so important to have that at the fingertips, you know?
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
folks, we have Bill Wirght of OverDriver. And, sir, can you please share briefly, generally, what is OverDriver and how can it benefit pro wrestling and indie wrestling?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to gimmick infringe at all, but it's a little bit all about wrestling. The app is designed to help synergize professional wrestling. It is designed to help connect fans, wrestlers, and all sorts of wrestling talent and promoters together. And the app is really designed to take the entire industry and put it in an app, in the palm of your hand to make it as easy as possible to promote your career, promote your brand, or follow the wrestlers and the promotions that you love. Taking a lot of pre-existing technologies and pointing them at an industry that, has deserved it for a long time.
That's awesome. I'm pretty sure there's so many wrestlers, promoters, different corporations that want to get a hold of this. When can we expect to see OverDriver fully operational?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. Right now, we, just to kind of clarify, I know a lot about wrestling. I don't know anything about programming or coding. So we have contacted the Appsketeers and we hired them as contractors to work on the app. They specialize in taking visions of what you would want to do in an app and kind of make it a reality. They specialize in that. And so we consulted with them and been working with them for the better part of this year in order to make this vision come into fruition, to be a reality. They are telling us that we're looking at another 8 to 10 months for the coding to finish. And so what we're doing right now is trying to get the word out so that we can build the database necessary for the app to really be useful. If I waited 8 to 10 months from now and then start talking to wrestlers or promoters, you might end up for 1 week having 5 wrestlers, the next week having 10 wrestlers, and then maybe 2 promoters. And that's not very exciting, and it's not a whole lot of resources for you to be able to utilize at the get-go. So we're using this opportunity to build this network, to get the word out so that the user base will be in place when we do launch. That way we can have a variety of promotions. As of right now, we're proud to say that we have 21 promotions that have already signed on in a total of 8 states around the country.
Wow.
And are in some level of negotiation with another 100 promotions that we are hoping to bring on board, and things seem very positive to that regards. And we have a list of wrestlers that are wrestlers, referees, photographers, anybody who loves business. We're getting a list built of the talent as well. And that launch list, which is what we call it, will help to show promoters the talent's available and talent that promoters are available. And fans are now getting interested in it as well and signing up. So we're going to have all 3 pillars from the get-go. And then as we launch, we'll just get bigger from that point and be able to offer more features and an even bigger database. So that's kind of where we're at as of right now. And that, with that being said, we're asking anybody who is interested in this to go to overdriver.org, which is our website, and take a survey. If you're a fan and you love the sport, take a survey. If you're a talent of any kind, referee, commentator, manager, take a survey, or a promoter, and tell us what you like that you see that we're developing in the app, what you don't like, or maybe what you want to see us add to it. This is a good time for us to talk to the coding team and make some minor adjustments, and also to develop the recipe for, version 2.0. So as of June 15th, we're going to draw a $100 gift card, and each survey is going to enter you into that lot, and we'll do a live stream drawing for that gift card, which is a nice incentive. But really the big incentive here is that OverDriver is becoming a movement, and we want you to be part of that movement to make wrestling better.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Miamor, can you imagine, and I'm sure Mr. Wright, you can too, how many podcasts are going to jump in on this just to get a piece of the wrestlers across the country that they can have on their show? This is amazing, Miamor. What are your thoughts?
So first of all, I want to say, I think it's amazing that you have come up with this idea and you're actually making it happen, because I'm surprised that this has not happened already.
Yeah.
So you definitely hit the gold mine with this one. And what was the second thing I was trying to remember? I just asked Bobby for a pen, but second thing, what is that belt behind you? Not to go completely off topic, but
that's right? that's perfectly fine. So I'll touch on both of those things if you don't mind. First, I'll start with the belt just to solve curiosity. My daughter didn't really love wrestling until she met me, and now she adores it. And I bought that AEW belt for her, and it's partly because we both love AEW and we love WWE, and so that's an AEW championship up there. You're probably looking for a more exciting answer, and the truth is, when you're in the WWE and you get those championship belts, like, you get one you get to keep and put in a trophy safe. But when you're on the Indies, which is what I was, and you have like 7 championship belt history, all of those belts go back to somebody who took it off you. Like, right. You don't have that trophy after you lose it.
Okay, so all right, I have one more question for you.
Yeah, it's your show. I'll answer all the questions you want.
You said you were in indie wrestling, correct? Is that what you just said to us?
Yeah, I spent 11 years wrestling under the name Exodus in Western North Carolina. And then after an 8-year run, I decided I needed more character. And at that time, I was doing 4 years of bail bonding. And bail bonding is usually correlated to bounty hunting. So I turned my character into Hunter X and utilized the bounty hunter aspect as my gimmick, and that kind of resurged my career up until the pandemic hit, and things changed.
Nice.
That is pretty cool. So it has taken a former independent wrestler to come up with this program, this movement, as he said,
Yes.
that independent wrestlers are able to go onto one platform and have the networking, the connection, the communication. That's amazing. That is really amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. One thing I will say is that there have been foreshadowings of this for a long time. There have been websites that have tried to do databases. There have been, talks of doing similar kind of things. I think what we're doing a little bit differently here is that I not only have experience as a professional wrestler, having taken bumps and had the concussions and bled in the ring, and so I understand that sacrifice, but.
Sorry, technical error.
I got theme music. I love that.
That was like cha-cha music.
But I also have a background in business, having done a lot, about 20 years in commission sales, working for retailers. And I took a break. That's when I went into the bail bonding, because commission sales, you have burnout. So I went to that and realized that commission sales was even better because that is a faster burnout. But with that, I'm able to apply certain aspects of business and marketing and sales that I think a lot of the people that have tried to do this before didn't really have the vision for. And I think that's part of why this is catching a little bit more fire than some previous attempts on like website databases. Plus, we really are trying to do more than just create a database of like names, right? We are trying to synergize the business and connect all of those resources together, from wrestling schools to belt makers, to podcasters, to your photographers, and kind of everything in between that can just be resourced in one place to help you synergize your business. So that's where we're at.
That's pretty incredible, folks. So he's no spring chicken. You were in wrestling. If you don't mind, what actually, I guess, created the idea that you wanted to be a wrestler, or captivated you enough to actually enter that industry?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, very similar to most kids. Like if you, not most kids, but like most wrestlers, when you ask them, like there's some childhood memory. And I was living in Massachusetts with, my mom and dad. My grandmother had a furnished basement that was just, really nice. It was a furnished apartment. But she lived downstairs, and I would go downstairs, when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, whatever. And I would sit there, and she loved wrestling, so I remember Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior and Jake the Snake Roberts. And those were the guys that I grew up on. And then she had passed away when I was around 8 or 9. And my mom said, well, that's enough with wrestling because it's too violent, and I only let you watch it because she did. And I moved to North Carolina, where I met, one of my lifelong best friends, Keith Medford, and he introduced me to it again. And now Hulk Hogan was a bad guy. Yeah. So now my childhood memory had become like the NWO leader, and it was a whole resurgence, and I've been addicted to it ever since. And when I got to be 25 years old, I just, was not happy with any of the jobs that I pursued, because I never went to college. I just went straight into retail, and never found it like super, super satisfying. I just got really good at it, and wrestling became an outlet. And so I started training for it, and I started to hit the ring, and I was able to win championships. My style was probably very much inspired by the Radicals. Perry Saturn was a huge influence. And of course, Chris Benoit in ring, Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko as far as technician. I loved the fact that these journeymen, they did a little bit of everything, suplexes and submissions and strikes. And that's what I tried to really emulate, with other inspirations as well.
Nice. That's awesome. Folks, if you're just joining us, we're here with Bill Wirght of OverDriver, Revolutionary app coming soon. We're going to break down OverDriver shortly. You're a wrestling guy. We wanted to get your opinion on a few things that are happening in pro wrestling. Of course,
Sure, love the
first,
man.
of course, first we have AEW coming out with a new show
Yeah,
called
absolutely.
Collision. I have the press release here, folks. Press release. Before I get into that, Matthew Holland made a good point. He commented, today is Chris Benoit's 56th birthday. It's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Oh, happy
Fascinating.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Chris. All right, and rest in peace. AEW Collision full press release announcement. All right, so AEW, they're bringing a new show. In my opinion, this appears to be what I would consider kind of like a brand split in WWE. We're going to have a show on Saturday now. They're still going to have Rampage on Friday, Dynamite on Wednesdays. They're getting rid of AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation, from what I understand. What are your thoughts? What's your opinion about this? Do you believe that it's a good move? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions about this?
Yeah, so probably, I don't know if my opinions are going to be the popular opinions, but first of all, I think Tony Khan has done a better job than a lot of people expected him to do. And when another show like that comes out, there's money behind it, right? And I'm sure the press release, if I remember what I read, there's a significant amount of money that came into this deal.
Yeah.
Why would you turn that down? If your product is hot and you're growing in popularity, and now you're on the verge of selling out stadium seating, which hasn't been done since WCW outside of the WWE universe,
Right.
why wouldn't you do that? And if you do have what the internet generally criticizes as being a bloated roster, why would you not want to have the opportunity to kind of split that up and offer more opportunity to the talent to be highlighted? Because if you can have The Rock on one show and Stone Cold on the other, and continue growing them up, then it's going to, when you do get to the point that they end up on the same show, there's going to be even more excitement for the build up in that particular case. So there's a lot of opportunity if it's done right. The only criticism that I would have, or I guess a suggestion that I would make if I had Tony Khan's ear, would be to take Chris Jericho or a Jerry Lynn or somebody else within your circle and let them lead the creative on that show, so that it's a different flavor than what you're doing on this show. Because the problem with, in my opinion, the WWE's current brand split design is SmackDown doesn't feel really a lot different than Raw. Right. It's interchangeable. You could switch the names and nobody would care. Right. But if Paul Heyman was running SmackDown, it would feel different.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And that is what kind of creates the in-house competition that WWE has always talked about doing, but never really, I felt like never really had the guts to do. And that's, I think Vince is very, very control focused and doesn't generally want somebody else to control it outside of what he thinks wrestling should be. And another probably unpopular opinion is Tony Khan loves wrestling. That's why he's doing this. He bought into it because he loves wrestling.
Right.
And there's this whole thing about Vince McMahon up until Triple H took it over, or for that time took it over, you couldn't say the word wrestling. Because if you really look at the long run of Vince McMahon's run within the WWE, he's a guy who's always wanted to do movies, and he makes awful movies.
Right.
Right. He's always wanted to do sports entertainment, not wrestling. But this is the only thing that he makes money at. Right. He wanted to do football and it bombed.
Right.
Right. This is the only thing, because he's in the position of power, that he can hold control. But creatively speaking, he doesn't love wrestling, I think, the way that we do, and certainly not the way that Tony Khan does. He's willing to work with New Japan and split the gate. So I say more power to him.
Absolutely. Very good point. Very good point, by the way. I did receive a bit of information that, from what I understand, Bryan Danielson has been added to the creative team. No indication if he's going to go to Collision to help out. Also, a lot of viewers, a lot of wrestling fans have been wondering what's going on with the booking, what's going on with Miro, Thunder Rosa? What's going on with Andrade? They're all going to be on this Collision show, and then we were expecting for CM Punk to appear. Apparently, he's in a holdout. Something happened again.
I saw that.
Yeah. So it's just, but I'm an AEW guy myself. I do watch all wrestling.
Really? You are? Oh my gosh. I couldn't tell.
Jesus.
I'm just saying.
But it's going to be very interesting, and I'm glad to get your opinion on it. Someone that's been in the wrestling industry, and it's very interesting. Ma'am, are you excited for AEW Collision?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah. All right. Lastly, we want to get your opinions on the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Sure.
All right. Of course, my feeling is that it's another participation trophy. Roman Reigns has not been dethroned. There's speculation that he's expected to hold on to the title to overthrow Hulk Hogan's reign, which means he's not getting rid of the title anytime soon. What are your thoughts? Do you believe that the World Heavyweight Championship is a participation trophy?
Personally, no, I don't. Now, I know that popular opinion is that it is, right? But no, I don't. And I'll tell you on a couple of reasons why. The first reason why that I think it's not a participation trophy is because the Universal title and the WWE title are the same except for a different color strap, right? I mean, that's basically what we're talking about, right? So it really is kind of the same thing anyways. And for the sake of the story and for the sake of the bloodline, he got both of them great. It's the same title at this point, right? And if he's on a separate show and the World Heavyweight's on a separate show, then we're going back to exactly where we were before. There's a champion top of the card for both, right? So I don't see the big difference there. But more importantly, I think it has a lot to do with, if there's any truth in the fact that Triple H is getting more creative opportunity, then the WWE Universal title, that's Vince's lineage belt. And now this is Triple H's opportunity to book what he thinks the World Championship should look like.
Yes.
And so it depends on how it's booked. If it's booked in that perspective and Triple H is trying to reshape the World Heavyweight Championship to be how he thinks the championship should be booked, then it's not a participation trophy, right? Then it's paving a new trail. So it really depends on how it's booked at this point.
Awesome. Yeah, Moore, what are your thoughts? Is the World Heavyweight Championship, the new title, a participation trophy?
I don't know. I think I'm in between. I think it is because everyone goes in there, doing their best. Okay. Anything is a participation. However, it's still wrestling, still a championship. So that's why I'm kind of in between, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah. Well, I tell you this, if I was in the WWE, I'd rather hold that title.
Yeah.
Personally. I know it's had some criticisms as far as design, but I like the big gold belt better. I'd rather hold that title than the other one.
I like the gold belt too.
Yeah.
It just has a rustic, old-fashioned look.
Yeah. It looks like a championship rather than an oversized, branding logo.
Or a W.
Yeah.
All right, cool, folks. We're here with Bill Wirght of OverDriver. We said we break this down. I'm excited. All right, so now that we have you,
yeah, absolutely.
we have some screens. We would like for you to let us know what's going on in these images, folks. Be ready. Take your notes. This is going to be revolutionary. So here we go.
Time to educate.
Let's go. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
So here we go.
Yeah. So this is our login screen or our sign-in screen. It's the prototype is showing the colors that we're going with and some of the design that we're going with. And it shows, more importantly, the 3 pillars that we intend to use for this app and to assist with the app, starting with fans and then talent, which is wrestlers are included in talent. There's a lot of other talent, including referees, can have a match without a referee, or commentators and so forth, cameramen, just about anybody that helps to support the show. And then the promoter, because they're running the show and they're running the promotion, and they need a separate set of tools. And so very similar. My wife, she's kind of the tech head in regards to this. She's our IT. She has a better mind for the tech side of things. And we were kind of designing this to be similar to Airbnb in the way that you can go from being a host to a user pretty seamlessly. And that's
Nice.
what this is showing you. Also, the guest screen, which in the case that you just want to buy a ticket, but you don't want to set up a profile, we want you to have that option.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to this. This is really going to be revolutionary. As a podcaster, where would I sign up as a fan or?
Yeah, so we've been talking about that because, and I'll say the same thing to you. I told one of the other podcasters that's the same thing. I had no idea that the podcast community was so huge and so involved and so passionate about wrestling as it is. When I was wrestling, back in 2008, I actually ran a podcast, but I was like, that was before Jericho did it. That was before Stone Cold did it. It wasn't like the cool thing. I was just kind of getting started, and it didn't go too far. And so I just had no idea it caught fire. So we're trying to figure out where in the talent versus promoter section that's going to fall. And because of that, we're not 100% sure, but
Right.
we're taking feedback because we know that you guys are hustlers and you're working so hard to promote what you love, which is professional wrestling, that we want to make sure that we're utilizing and giving you guys as much support as we can.
Right.
Just as we are with the rest of the community. So any advice that you have in regards to that, we'd certainly take. And again, that's a shout out to overdriver.org, so you can take the surveys and tell us your thoughts and give us that feedback so we can start working on making the modifications. But I'm not sure yet if it's talent or promoter, but I know it's more than fan.
Awesome. All right, so let's check out this here.
That is so that's a shot of the talent screen, specifically the wrestler talent screen. And what you see there, you have a rating, which is a 4.8. So that is to represent the rating system that's being built in so that when a promoter books somebody, like, for example, Brina Royce or Crucifix or, C.W. Anderson, and they utilize them on the show, then after that show, they can go on and they can say, hey, look, this guy delivers, he works hard. They show a ton of respect. They have great matches. So I'm gonna give him like a 5-point rating. And then you might have somebody who said, oh, he works really great, but he's not, he's not as courteous to the staff. And so I only gave him like a 4.5 or whatever. And then the system kind of averages that out. And then we're telling the industry, this is where the opinions of the multiple promotions that are using this talent are kind of settling on this talent, which will help us to identify talent that maybe is a problem. And the same is going to go for promoters and help us to identify talent that deserves to be elevated. Who is the next big star? Well, if you've got a 5-star rating, you're likely on track, to being huge in the business. And so these will help to indicate. Of course, you have the name and the picture, and you'll see at the bottom of the screen you have like action shots. So you'll be able to get a couple of promo shots in there, and then you'll be able to write a bio. The bio is going to be designed specifically so that you can kind of explain some of the things you want people to know that our questionnaires won't walk you through. Because what we will walk you through are things like your height and your weight, because we're trying to build an announcer card. Because anytime a pro wrestler goes to a show, the announcer's running around with his head cut off like a chicken,
Right.
just trying to find like, where are you from and what do you weigh, and trying to build that card. Well, if it's on OverDriver, you don't have to do that, right? You could go to the show knowing everybody's stats because it's on OverDriver. And what is your style? What do you charge? How far do you travel? These are all things you'll be able to kind of regulate in there so that the search engine promoters will be able to find you on, whether you're lucha libre, whether you're hardcore style, whether you're willing to drive this far, or if you're in their price range. And then they can send you a booking and you can negotiate, you can counter offer, you can decline the offer, you can accept the offer. And at which point accepting the offer will give you secure transactions And it will also allow you to control the calendar. So there's a lot of really good tools that we're throwing in there. And the control, to me, secure transactions is important because part of what inspired this for me is both good experiences and bad experiences. And last night I went to ACCW in Hidden Night, North Carolina. And Bobby Fish beat Thomas Extreme for the ACCW championship, and that was a fantastic evening. The promoter treated everybody with the utmost respect. He made sure everybody got paid. He had great talent, great production. He deserves 5 stars. We want the industry to know that. But at the same time, I've had guys try to skip out on paying you, and we want to give them ratings and reviews. And the secure transaction kind of slims the opportunity there, because then what'll happen is the promoter will have the bank account set. That payment will shift over onto hold the day before the show, so wrestlers can see their pay is there, and it'll drop in the day after the show.
Wow.
So they don't even have to hunt for an envelope. It's all automated through Stripe and their security systems, which are worldwide. So that kind of gives you a good breakdown of some of the benefits the wrestlers will have.
I'm pretty sure they really appreciate that.
Hopefully, we're finding out most of them do.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's kind of like a background check, in
kind
a
of.
sense. Yeah. It's a sense of security. It's exactly what it is.
Right. Well, I mean, how much do you go and buy on Amazon where you don't check the rating first?
Yeah.
Right.
When do you go to an Airbnb? You go to Airbnb and you check the rating. Like, am I going to get killed in my sleep? I don't know. and so that's why the system's in place, right? So
Yeah.
we're trying to do the same thing, but for our industry. And if anybody's nervous about that, then maybe you should be, and maybe there's a problem, because if you're doing what you should be doing, then this is a good thing.
That ranking system is awesome. All right. So lastly, and this is, I really like this because I like going to shows and things.
Yeah.
What's going on this screen?
Yep. So this is a fan's perspective of what an event screen will look like. And this is, again, prototype. So when you have different promotions, they might use different backgrounds, and obviously you'd have like different talent involved and whatnot. But it's to allow you to kind of scroll through so that you can see the shows that maybe you searched up, family shows, or you searched up adult only wrestling because you like the harder core energy with the death matches and alcohol and whatever, or you want lucha libre shows, whatever. And so you type in the type of show you're looking for, and then it pulls up these options, and you can kind of scroll through. You can also look based on your area. Just this week, we've caught 3 people on Facebook yelling out into the darkness, I'm in Chicago, I'm looking for a good wrestling show. I'm in Atlanta, I'm looking for a good wrestling show. But if you have OverDriver, the idea is that all you have to do is type in where you want to go or what area you're willing to drive, and it will pull up all the shows that work for that. And then you can click on it. And if you like the card, then you can buy a ticket. You can go to the show and do it even without having to have cash. You can buy the ticket and have it scanned at the door.
Awesome. How awesome is that, Miamor? To have that.
That is really good.
At your fingertips.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Like I said, I think he hit the jackpot here.
Yeah, this is really good stuff.
This is definitely something entirely new where, they can come to one place and get everything that they need. Like, as far as being a fan, as far as being like an independent wrestler, trying to get your name out there and just trying to find good work, something that actually you're content with. Like, say you have standards. I want this, and that, and you're able to filter all of that out. So I think that's truly amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. One of the things that I forgot to mention for fans is that notifications will be involved. So that if you're, following a particular wrestler and you really support them. So we'll take like a Luka Daniels, for example. He's getting really big. He's been on WWE developmental television a couple of times, and he's doing some big things in the Western North Carolina area. So say you want to follow him because you think he's going to be, in NXT in the next couple of years, and you just want to follow that development, follow that career. So you pick him, or you pick the promotion you like, and then it can give you push notifications and say, oh, Luka Daniels is in the area. Luka Daniels is booked on this. Crucifix is booked here. And it will tell you instead of you hoping that it shows up in the algorithm on Facebook with all the other things, because people they want to show you your favorite meal, and they want to show you what the cat looks like, and they want to show you this business, and they want to sell you fat burning, and you've got all that to compete with. But with OverDriver, it's just wrestling, and that's all you're going to find.
Right. Very good note. And folks, I want to be really clear. Us as wrestling fans, those that are wrestlers, promoters, you guys, we go on social media, we go on Facebook, we go on Instagram, we go on Twitter, and we look for something. We look for an app, a utility where we can go and book shows, where we can promote ourselves. OverDriver is all in one, folks. OverDriver is specifically for the wrestling industry. It's for the wrestler. It's for the fan. It's for the promoter. It's all there. So this is truly revolutionary, and we're really glad to be a part of it. Bill Wirght, could you please let the viewers know where to find you on social media? And please.
Yeah, absolutely. So along with overdriver.org, which is our website, and one last note on that is there is a launch list that we put on there. And that's probably the most important message that I need to sneak in here, before I finish, is that launch list is really important to us because it's showing us the growing interest of promotions, the growing interest in talent, the growing interest in fans. And that allows us to show talent that promotions will be there to work with them, and vice versa. Promotions will have talent that they can find, and that fans are going to be there to buy the tickets, right? So the more names we get on that launch list, the better it's going to be to show the community we're growing healthy, and we're going to provide you a really deep well of information. And also, if we do start looking into getting additional investment in this, because what we've talked about is already handled. But if we decide to expand on it and add new tools that a lot of people are asking us to do, we might need to ask investors. And the best way to do that is to show them this isn't just a good idea. We have a built-in clientele that want this product. So if you go to overdriver.org, all you're saying is, I can download this for free and use all these tools. I want to know as soon as it's out. So if you go to overdriver.org and sign that launch list, that's a huge way to support this movement to make professional wrestling more efficient, more transparent, and more profitable. We're also on OverDriver LLC on Facebook and on Instagram.
Awesome. Folks, and that's overdriver.org. The link is in the description. Make sure you go and click that. Bill, it's such a pleasure having you.
Thank you so very much.
Absolutely. We ask that you please come back with any updates anytime you like, anytime you want to talk about wrestling. Miyamura, you have any last words?
Yes. Before we let go, I can't emphasize enough as a fan, indie wrestling events it's word of mouth, right? So I think this is an amazing app. We can all go in it to find events that we want to go to, because I never had an indie event that I went to that I wasn't personally invited to. So I think this is amazing. Good luck with everything. You're definitely going to have to expand, because I was going to ask you like a few moments ago, when do you plan on hiring employees? You're definitely hit the home run with this. So I think it's truly amazing. And let us know one more time, when are you launching?
So we don't have a launch date. We have an 8 to 10 month window that we've been given by the team. So if you go to overdriver.org, or if you stay with OverDriver LLC on Facebook or Instagram, we're every week we're posting about new partners and changes. So as soon as that launch date closes the window, and we can say for sure, we'll make the announcement. Right now, we're waiting on the tech team to go through all the coding, because we've asked for more than I think a lot of people do with their apps.
I'm very excited for this. I think this is amazing.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and we'll let you know just as soon as we close the window in that 8 to 10 months.
Okay, we look forward to that, and thank you so much for being on our show today, and we look forward to seeing a lot more of you.
Thanks so much. I love it. I'll be here anytime.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to let us get the word out. This is a special movement, and it's starting to catch fire, and we're glad to have you a part of it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Folks, stay tuned.